And hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Nerdy Over 30, the podcast where we talk about movies, games, and everything pop culture. As always, I'm Jonathan. Here with me are the boys, David and T-Bud. How's it going?
Yo. What's up?
And today's guest, you might know him from Power Rangers, from the TMNT van. He is Jason Ybarra. How's it going?
Good. Hey, everybody. How you guys doing?
Good, man. Super excited to have you on. We all grew up with Power Rangers, and it's like been a big part of our childhood. So for anybody who's not familiar with you, can you give a little short synopsis of who you are?
Sure. I started in Power Rangers in '94, right out of high school. I was one of the baboos. There's actually two in the U.S. I was the second one. A lot of people don't know that, so I'll just put that out there. I was on the show for about 10 years doing various things. Ended up doing craft service at the last year that the show was actually filmed in the U.S. After that, I worked on several other movies like Clueless, Starship Troopers,
Ooh, nice.
Country Bears, a bunch of movies and TV shows. Currently, I'm working on Muppets Mayhem behind the scenes. A lot of people don't know that it's just as exciting behind the scenes as it is in front of the camera, but that's what I'm currently working on right now.
Cool, man. That's awesome. I had no clue about all the other movies like Clueless and Starship Troopers and stuff like that.
Starship Troopers, though, that's crazy.
Yeah, I was about to say, what did you do in Starship Troopers?
I was just a background person. I was actually in Clueless. I had a line, and it got cut out, but I'm seen all over the movie in that as well.
Oh, cool, man. Yeah, definitely.
Awesome.
Funny thing is, I was just watching that a couple of days ago. I got to check
that
out.
Yeah.
It was.
Now I gotta watch it.
So you see me everywhere.
So from what I know on Power Rangers, you were just kind of like right place, right time. How'd that whole story start? And how'd you get the character of Baboo?
I started out as an extra. I was in a juice bar, and I was there like, I don't know, probably 3 weeks into it. And this is right out of high school, by the way. So this is like my first thing right out of high school. And one day, this guy, John Countess, he was in charge of the monsters. He came out in front, and he's like, hey, who wants to be a monster? And I was just there, honestly, for a paycheck. Like, I didn't know what I was doing in life yet. But everybody else that was in the room, they were raising their hands. But the thing was, everybody in the room was buff. Like, the guys were buff, bigger than me. I was a scrawny little kid. And John passed everybody. He's like, what about you? You want to do it? I'm like, not really. He's like, well, try this suit on. And I went back, and I'll tell you, it was a totally different thing for me. Once the suit was on, you know, I had seen the character on TV, obviously, because I've been watching the show too. I was a fan, and it just changed my life from putting that suit on, and the rest is history. You know, like, I happened to be at the right place, the right time. I was the right build, which was skinny, and you know, we just went from there.
That's awesome. Yeah, dude, that's such a. I mean, that's so cool how that happens. How like you could just be sitting there as an extra, and then you become, you know, just a part of Power Rangers.
Oh, yeah. Like now, I wasn't expecting it, and when he came in the room, you know, it could have been anybody. It didn't have to be me, you know. And I just happened to be there at the right time. So I'm very lucky.
Oh, go ahead, David.
So how long did it take you to kind of put on that outfit? You know, some outfits are a pain in the, you know, to put on. Like, how long does did that whole process take you to put on the costume and be fully ready?
The Baboo costume was relatively simple. It was basically a rubber onesie. So I got in it from the front, and they zipped me up from the back. There were some gloves. There was some feet. The makeup probably took about 45 minutes, like 30 to 45 minutes. And then they put the head on me. Funny story. One day I was Baboo. They had to do my makeup at the park. I mean, my makeup at stage, and we were like probably 20 minutes from Castaic Lake where we did all the park scenes. And they did all my makeup at the stage, and I had to drive with my makeup on to the park. And it was so funny to see the few people that looked inside my car like, what's wrong with this guy? You know, so, I got to do some pretty cool stuff.
Must have been a sight.
Yeah.
It's just the 90s.
90s, yeah. Blue and light blue makeup on me.
Yeah.
And then from that, you were on many seasons of Power Rangers. What other seasons were you on, and what were the other things you did? I know you did some Red Ranger stuff as well.
Yeah, very few Red Ranger stuff. It was more like hand modeling, like nothing special. You know, like there was a stunt people that did all the crazy stuff. I was just there like a filler. If the stunt guys weren't there or they sent them home, it was more like there's a Red Ranger walking in the distance with the other guys. You know, like stuff like that. A lot of times people blow it up to be more than what it is, and for a time I got caught up in all that, but that's basically what the gist of it was. I was lucky enough to do the few little things. Like I said, I did various things on the show for the 10 years that I was there. You know, I was a PA, I think 1 year. But then in the end, I ended up being, you know, a craft service guy, and that's where I got my union card, and that's how I started my career that way at the end, you know?
Awesome. Wow, that's
very fortunate, though, you know, everything I did on the show.
Yeah, man, that's crazy how like one thing led into just a bunch of other jobs, and then it just built your resume up.
Yeah, and then it took up like a whole career.
Yeah, because the show was non-union, so it was easier for me to jump around doing different things, and a few people on the show did that. You know, they didn't stick in one department, and I got my experience that way. And like I said, very fortunate to even start doing what I was doing on there, and very fortunate how I ended up at the end of it. You know.
Yeah.
And what were the biggest challenges, you know, working with, you know, doing Power Rangers, like being that stunt double, being your character, you know, what was like the hardest thing for you?
Waking up at 4 a.m. every day. That was probably, you know, for me, it was fun. I had fun being there. I was 18 when I started that show, and to be on a show that you had previously been watching on TV for like a year or two prior to that, you know, every time they put me in these certain monster outfits to do these little things, I would go to Toys R Us down the street during lunch and buy the little toy and take a picture of me in the suits. Like that was the funnest part of it, you know. Like, it was just fun. I wouldn't say it was any type of hard work. Maybe sweating. I sweat now when I do, like, you know,
I was gonna say, that must have been crazy.
The turtle costumes, I'm sweating all the time, and I think I had a good conditioning when I was on the show to what I do now, you know.
Yeah.
Wow.
So how soon after did you get into the con circuit?
Oh, not soon at all. I want to say like 2010, 2011 was probably my first introduction. So after the show ended and I was doing my own stuff, craft service and everything, years later, I built a RoboCop car.
Awesome.
I wanted a RoboCop car, and I actually bought the RoboCop actual suit from the TV show.
Oh, shit. That's crazy.
And so I started doing these car shows, and I met Realm, who's part of Power Morphicon. If you've ever heard of Realm, he actually found me at this car show. And he had done research, and back then there wasn't very much Google and stuff like that. So, but he had done research on me, and he goes, "Hey, weren't you like Baboo?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that was a long time ago, though." And he's like, "You know, we have Power Morphicon, and the cons are starting to start up." And I was like, I wasn't very interested at the time because I was busy doing all kinds of things.
Yeah.
And so finally, he got me to go to one con, and then that like spread like wildfire, like. Because back then, there wasn't really a good way to contact any actor from the show. So everybody was just getting into it. And once they started finding out that you even had like a little minor part like I did, then I started getting invited to cons. And that became a big part of my life. I want to say like 2011 to 2014. That became part of my life, as did the turtle stuff and the car stuff. And that's how I got started, was through Realm.
Wow,
and
man.
talk to us about that transition to Turtle. Why Ninja Turtles? How did that happen?
I had always been a fan, and at one point, the RoboCop car wasn't doing it for me anymore. So I wanted to have a turtle van, and I had 3 guys help me build this thing. I designed it off the toy of how I wanted it and what I wanted it to be. But I didn't know how to do any of the work. So I was lucky enough at the time, I was shooting a show in Santa Clarita, which is where they did Power Rangers too, but not the same studio. And I got a special effects guy to do most of the work for me, like welding and stuff. And then I had a fiberglass guy. So that car came together in about 6 months. And it actually came out, I think, Halloween of 2011. And I was riding around. And my goal for the car was just to have, like, I just wanted it to drive around. Like, there was no birthday parties. There was no car shows. It was just, I wanted it. And so once it was built, it took about 2 years before I was able to find a guy that actually made the first version of the suit that I actually had.
Mm-hmm.
And so I found him. I bought the very first suit that he pulled from his mold, and I just bought it to have in the passenger seat so I could look cool on the freeway, at least for me. And that's all I wanted. I wanted to have a realistic suit in the passenger seat. And I want to say, like, a week into it, I went to go put gas, and this lady's like, "Hey, do you do parties?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, sure." That was something on my mind to do these parties. And I go, "Yeah." She asked me how much, and I told her, and she's, "Okay, here's the address. See you next week." And from that one party, I started a social media. And I want to say within 2 months of that happening, the social media blew up, because, like, it was me and the suit designer that only had these suits at the time. So the social media blew up. I made a website, started doing these parties, and within that year, 2013, it just blew up. And the cons got a hold of it. They wanted the turtles there. Blew up even more. This guy Jared Gwines out of Dallas, he was having a birthday party where he wanted Vanilla Ice and the Turtles to play for the first time since the movie. And he got a hold of me. He's like, "This is what I'm doing. I need the van here." I go, "Well, you need to transport this thing from California over there." And he did.
Wow.
Found somebody to transport it. And that's where I met Rob. Vanilla Ice was at his party. And everything kind of snowballed from that party the next year into it. Now I'm friends with Rob. I go to all the shows, any show that I want, and we just do the ninja rap probably week after week.
That's crazy.
That song in my head.
So how was it doing the ninja rap the first time after what? How many years was that? What, 20 years or something?
20-some years. When I went to Jared's party in Dallas, I think I was in my turtle suit for 14 hours straight from the time they were getting it ready.
Oh my God.
Now, mind you, I say 14 hours. That was like the torso and the pants. Like, I took off my feet, my head, and my arms. But I was in that suit for 14 hours. Everybody taking pictures with me, whatnot. And it was surreal to actually be performing on stage with Vanilla for the first time for me, to be able to mimic any kind of movement for that song in front of all those. I think there was 2,500 people there at this party. And it was just a big deal for me. It was a big deal for me even now. Like, not everybody can say that they've performed on stage with him, in a turtle suit.
No, I mean, I watched that movie so much when I was a kid, and I love that scene, and it must have been crazy to, like, recreate.
Oh, yeah.
How long did
you still is today? What was that?
How long did you prep for that? Like, how long did it take you to get the routine down to perform with him?
Funny thing is, me and a couple of guys at the time, we tried to learn the routine as best we could. We had limitations with the suit because the suit didn't have very good movement, and it probably took about we didn't practice religiously, but it probably took a good month off and on getting the moves right with what we were watching on the videos.
Yeah.
And then come to find out, we get to the party and Rob's like, "No, just have fun. We're just here to have fun. Forget the choreography. Just go all out." I'm like, "All right." So everything was thrown out of the window. Just and it was all for fun.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Cool. And then
a little ninja rap now.
What's that?
Can you give us a little ninja rap now?
I don't have half of my clothes on right now. I'm doing the Zoom meeting.
So how crazy is it now just going to his shows and, like, having that be a part of your career? Like, I get to do the ninja rap of Vanilla Ice all the time now.
Like, just like Power Rangers, it was a luck. It happened out of luck. It didn't happen, obviously, right place, right time. But it's also the work ethic, right? Like, people don't bring me on because I just happen, like, they see my work ethic. They see that I'm really into what I'm doing and that I'm really there for the fans. Like, when I'm in that suit, in the beginning, it was look at me, right? Like I was the first one of two people to have this suit, and it was look at me in the beginning. But from the very first time that we were involved with any type of kids, it became about the kids. And like we just did a baseball game for 7,200 people out in Tennessee, the Smoky Stadium. And let me tell you, you may be hot and sweaty, but the minute you see the kids smiling and like, oh my God, like Michelangelo's in front of me, like we have a duty for these kids. Like it's no longer about us. It's about making these kids happy and giving them an experience of a lifetime that we didn't have. Like I never met a Ninja Turtle when I was 5 years old, right?
Yeah.
So we're in a position to give something back to all these thousands of kids and adults, because there's adults my age. I'm 46, and the adults go even more crazier than the kids. So
yeah, because if I saw you guys, I would totally.
I would
for sure.
We had a guy at the Comic-Con in Washington 2 months ago. He came as a Domino's pizza guy from old school with a Domino's pizza.
Oh, just like Ninja Turtles.
Wow.
Kevin Eastman was there, and it was a big deal, you know.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's amazing, man.
So I totally get that. As you know, probably from doing cons, if you heard of the 501st, the guys who dress up like stormtroopers.
Yeah.
I've been part of the 501st for 10 years now.
Wow, that's cool.
I mean, I that feeling that you get when you're at a baseball game or at a con with the kids, yeah, there's nothing like that.
It's a rush. It's a rush that it makes you want to give back.
Yeah,
you know, it does.
Absolutely.
So, have you ever done hospital visits? We do a lot of hospital visits because
I have not. And in the beginning, I wanted to do it because I had time in my schedule. And I think in the end, the few times that I wanted to go to the children's hospital, it didn't happen because of something with the rubber suits.
Gotcha. Okay.
I think they were worried about whatever with the suits,
just in case the material.
Yeah, I think that's why we never were able to be inside the hospital.
No, yeah, they're also very crazy even when we come, so I totally understand that. But being a stormtrooper is a lot different. You're in a plastic suit with spandex, and I get hot in that. I can only imagine how sweaty you get in a rubber suit. You probably pour it out.
I've been able to handle my sweat. I must have some good genes. My friend Michael, he has a video out. He's famous Leo. And if you ever see his video on YouTube or TikTok, he has a video where he takes his hand off and he could literally pour like a liter of sweat.
Oh my God.
Never like that. You know, like,
well,
but I mean, not that I don't. Like I do sweat in that thing.
Yeah.
You guys got your own personal saunas.
I call it the Ninja Turtle diet, where I could eat anything I want all day. I just sweat it out the whole rest of the time.
I'm gonna try that one.
Yeah, you should. Everybody should try it.
What's the longest you kept that outfit on for?
The 14 hours at Jared's party.
The 14, okay.
Oh man,
right.
Lord,
so
Lord, have mercy.
14 hours, because I was so excited to be in that thing. You know, like, oh my God.
Yeah, it's always exciting the first couple times, and then after a couple years, you're like,
I don't want to do it.
And the worst part is, I'm sure a lot of people that have worn this suit, the turtle suit, can say this too. You know, if you're in it for like 45 minutes to an hour, and you have to take it off to go to the bathroom or for whatever reason, it really sucks to put back on, because now you're putting on some kind of wet, clammy rubber suit. It was dry when you put it on originally, you know?
Yeah.
Thanks for the description.
Yeah, you have to carry around a big thing of baby powder and just pour it in the suit.
We used to do that, but then the baby powder used to cake inside the suit.
Oh, that's even worse.
You gotta make like you gotta make like a pee-pee hole in the suit or something.
Yeah. That's one thing I've never thought about. However many years I've done turtles. I have to like strip it all down. Like, oh my God, then I got to put it back on.
Oh boy. What have you ever thought of dressing up as anything else? Do you have it like a to-do list or?
Yeah, because I never knew about the RoboCop car. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, because now I'm curious.
Not too many people know about that one, but because it's an obscure thing for most people, you know. So I was RoboCop a few times, That was pretty interesting because you can't move at all.
I'm sure.
Those fiberglass pieces on you, you're like, just how Peter Weller walks in the movie. That's how you walk. The range of motion. But that was fun. As far as my to-do list, I really don't have a to-do list. Things just pop in my head that I want to do. Now, I will say, I'm not a fan of dressing up, even though you see me one way.
You don't say.
Yeah, you would never think so.
I don't like makeup.
Liar.
I don't like anything on my face. And so the few times that you see me do it for my girl or for something, it's really for her, right? So my to-do list is really whatever comes to mind at that time. So to give you an example, a couple months ago when Buzz Lightyear came out, the movie, I was actually needing like a couple new pairs of shorts. They're like $30 each, right? And I went weeks without buying these shorts because I didn't want to spend $30 on the shorts because I was cheap. Right? Buzz Lightyear comes out, and I see these three YouTube people with these awesome real life Buzz Lightyear outfits.
I've seen a couple of those, yeah.
And I did some research right away, and I found three makers. One was in France, one was here, and one was in the Philippines. And the one in France wanted to make me one, but he didn't know how to ship it and get it to me intact. And then the one that was here told me that he didn't want to make them anymore, which I could understand, right? Real tedious work. And then the one in the Philippines was like, yeah, I'll make you one. And he told me the price. It was like $3,000. And I had no problem paying the $3,000 for the suit. But I wouldn't pay $30 for the short.
I am with you, my friend. I have.
We've all been there.
I have a couple Star Wars costumes that I didn't think twice about, and then I'll think twice about buying underwear. So I get you, my friend.
So in answer to your question, my to-do list is random. So now I want to be Buzz Lightyear, so I'm going to be Buzz Lightyear for Halloween.
That is awesome. With like the craziest, like so, like you could have went to Party City, got a cheap Buzz Lightyear suit, but no, you're like, I'm gonna go all the way.
Gotta get it official tishel.
I'm the type of person that if I dress as something, it has to be as real as I can.
I love it. I love it. Yeah,
no knock to the people that buy the regular suits. I'm not knocking them. It's just something that I'm able to be able to do. So. And like I said, when I'm in these suits now, it's not for me. I want to, like, when I get this suit, I want to go do stuff for Halloween for the kids, like before the suit deteriorates, you know. So
yeah,
as soon as I get it, I'm gonna find these things I can go to that are kids. That the kids will be there, you know. I want to make kids happy, you know. So that's my goal, ultimately.
Now, did you ever think of? Well, first, do you have any Power Ranger costumes, and did you ever think about getting the Baboo suit?
Yes and yes. I had a Red Ranger costume that I eventually sold.
From what maker did you get it from?
From Anarchy.
Anarchy, yeah. I have the Green Ranger one from Anarchy.
It took him 3 years to make me mine.
Wow. Well, the good thing I can say is they are getting a lot faster nowadays.
That's good. And your second question, the Baboo suit. There was a time when Disney had all that stuff on eBay, if you remember, for a brief period of time.
No, I didn't know they put all that stuff up when they owned Power Rangers.
I heard about that.
It was early 2000s or mid 2000s. They didn't tell nobody. They just put them up.
Gotcha.
And they had an eBay store, but it wasn't like the whole suits. Like they had a couple of monster suits, but it wasn't the hands. It was just like the bodies.
Gotcha.
And the same thing with the Baboo. The Baboo suit was pretty in bad shape when I was wearing it on the show. But I do know that the head survived. The head went to SPD. If you watch the first episode of SPD, Baboo's head is walking around in the background.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I think they sold his hands on eBay, I believe, when they had the eBay auction.
Wow.
So now you got to go for a hunt. No.
Or go talk to Scott Zillner. Scott Zillner has a couple of monster suits. I think he still has them, too, a couple of old monster suits that he got.
That's crazy, man.
From the first time you put on your the Baboo outfit a while back, a couple of years, did you ever think that you would be doing this today?
No. I literally thought it was going to be a one and done. Like I probably wouldn't be on the show that long. I mean, nobody expected, and I'm talking as a background person, right? Like when you're a background person, you just go from show to show. But fortunately for me, with this experience, I was a background person on this show all the time.
Yeah.
So my first 3 weeks experience was on this show all the time. That's all I knew. I was on VR Troopers a couple times. I was a scud in the background.
Oh, you were?
Yeah, I have a picture.
Crazy.
Hold on, give me 1 second. I know
Yeah, go for it. I definitely want to see that. Man, VR Troopers, I haven't heard that in so long.
Yeah, look at that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles arcade.
Oh yeah, we definitely got it. Oh yeah, that's the. Oh, we got to talk about his collection for sure.
Yeah, but that's epic. That's the one with 4 players, right?
Yeah. That's the 4-player one, the arcade one.
I wish I had the space, man. I would totally go for it.
All right, you let me know if you can't see because of the glare, and then I'll take them out.
No, go for it.
So first one's me and Rita, Carla.
Nice.
Oh,
that's awesome.
The Scug outfit.
That's awesome.
wow.
Jason Narvi. This was a big Power Ranger sign we had in the lobby.
Nice. That's awesome.
There's the actual building outside. And the studio now, I believe NCIS is still there. NCIS, the original one, went in that stage when the Power Rangers left. There's a squat costume. Can you see him in the back over there?
Yeah.
Wow.
There's a bit of a Zeo episode where all the monsters were capturing Tommy and Rocky.
Damn, that's so awesome.
Yeah, that was a bunch of stuff. I have hundreds of pictures. I have hundreds of pictures.
And for our listeners, if you're not watching this, you need to get on our YouTube and watch
it. So, getting to be on the show and getting to be around all these actors, do you have any fond memories with any of the Rangers or any of the actors that like Bulk and Skull?
You know, Bulk and Skull were so funny. They had a talent, and they had a talent to make everybody laugh at any given time, not just on their bits, but just in real life. Mm-hmm. They were really good people. Everybody was really good people on that show. I wasn't close to a lot of them. I was close to Jack Guzman years later, not on the show, but I was close to Jack Guzman and Allison years later. Mm-hmm. I was friends with Steve Cardenas. We chatted a lot. Jason Frank a little bit. Mm-hmm. But you know, as a background person back in the day, and even now, like you're really taught not to talk to them. But they mm-hmm. were all really cool. They would walk into the stage. They would all say hi to everybody before mm-hmm. they went to makeup and everything. And nice. It was a really cool experience, you know? Mm-hmm.
Well, I also feel like from Power Morphicon, you've got to make better relationships with some of these people, I'm sure.
Yeah, because we see each other on a few times a year. So it's like, you know, you become friends with everybody at some point.
Yeah,
you know, awesome. Because you see everybody.
Well, that's good that they weren't jerks to you. I figured maybe like the main cast would be like, can't talk to us, nerd.
Here's something really cool. Here's the Blue Time Force bike.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, damn.
There's the
Elite.
And this is a model they actually blew up in that one scene. They blew that model up.
That's awesome, man. So that's so cool that like every kid, like you get to be on the sets and play with all these things that every kid watched on TV.
Oh yeah, it's so cool. Like I said, it was an experience for me. I was really lucky, and you know, I enjoyed my time on that show. You know?
And I see, based on your experience and what's around you, you became a collector.
I did.
So what do you collect?
I don't know if you can see the RoboCop back there, but
a little bit. Not,
a little bit. Yeah.
We could see that you have a whole arcade behind you.
So there's can you see that? Hold on.
Oh yeah, I see it.
Yep. Does it switch? No, it doesn't switch. Okay, so
no, we're good.
All right,
that's awesome.
I made a Tron helmet that actually glowed.
Wow, that's awesome.
Oh, that's really dope. It looks like legit.
I got RoboCop's gun. You see RoboCop's gun right there?
Uh-huh.
And then I also have Ratchet. I don't know if you know that I have Ratchet as a real car, so I have a Ratchet little stash there.
Okay, how many different cars have you done?
Where do you park them?
You'd be surprised.
And what happened to the RoboCop car?
On the street.
So let's start with the RoboCop car. I built that. I probably had that for 3-4 years, and then I got tired of it, and I sold it to a guy from Texas, and he supposedly drove it back, and it blew up.
Oh shit!
Wait, is he okay? Before I laugh.
Oh yeah,
okay?
he's okay. I think the transmission.
Oh, okay.
Oh, got you.
But when he took it from me, the car was fine. It's not like I sold him a lemon because I wanted the money.
No, of course.
Yeah.
So what happened?
Happened, and I never heard from him again. I just know that he sent me a mean email saying that I messed with him. I'm like, dude, the car was running fine. We went for the test drive. You knew that it ran fine. So that's the demise of that car.
Jesus.
Damn.
Well, also being a collector, I would think that he would think that you took very good care of the car. Then,
and he should have towed it, not driven it thousands of miles across the country. You know,
that's what I did. Maybe, if I would have spent money on a replica car. But anyway.
So then I didn't have a car. Well, I shouldn't say I didn't have a car. I didn't have a star car. So I sold that, and I bought a little Z3, a BMW Z3. I wanted to be cool, right? So I bought a little car. But then I didn't get the same attention from that little car that I did with that obscure car that I had. So I wanted to build a turtle van, and I set forth and I drew it up. I got my toy and I started finding cars of what I could use, and ultimately, which I think was a bad choice, realistically, because it doesn't have air conditioning. I went with the VW. Not that I'm an avid comic person, but I went back to the comic roots of Kevin Eastman, and the Turtles drove a VW bus in the comic, and that was because Kevin Eastman was a rider in his family's bus at the time, like back when he was a kid. So I decided to use a VW bus. That's why I used it. That's why it's that. And a lot of people don't know why, and that's why it is. And so I designed everything around it. I found the people to make it, spent all this money to build it, and then I had my car. And I thought I was cool.
Well, you were cool, right?
You are cool.
I quickly found out that people still boxed me in, whether they knew what the car was or not.
Okay.
So then I had that. A year later, I built Ratchet as my little work car, my little work van, right? And then I had those two, and then I had my little Z3, which I eventually sold. So now I have an ice cream truck. It's a working ice cream truck, and I have a little smart car because I didn't have air conditioning in all the other cars. So I just wanted a car that little zipped around and had air conditioning.
Man, you couldn't get an air conditioner installed in the other cars, huh?
If I did, it would have looked like those people back east that have the home air conditioner in the side window with the generator. And then people would have really been looking at me.
I mean, that would have been hilarious, though.
Now, for the ice cream truck, does it serve ice cream?
It does. It is a working ice cream truck. It goes to movie sets, and then it goes to some neighborhoods. So it's out there. I did you know who Benny Blanco is?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so I didn't know who he was when I got called by his people. But they're like, hey, Benny Blanco wants to rent your truck and put stuff all over it. You mind? I'm like, no, not if you're going to pay me.
Wait, who is Benny Blanco?
For people who don't know, he is a big producer for music, rap music, a lot of pop music. A really big name in music.
I thought you were talking about John Leguizamo from Carlito.
So he rented my ice cream truck for a week. And he put all his stuff. He put his face all over the truck. And said,
of course.
And basically, I just drove him around to his actor friends' houses, and he just would give him a pint of ice cream. He's like, "Hey, have a pint of ice cream," and then they recorded it, and that was it. That's not what we did, you know.
What was the point of that?
I don't know.
I do know. So were they filming this? Because I do know he does do a YouTube show with another famous chef called a chef friend of his, where they eat and stuff.
Yeah, so that was supposed to be a spin-off that they were going to do with the ice cream truck after.
Gotcha.
That they decided not to do with the ice cream truck. Like they wanted to put a little grill in there, and I'm like, no, it's too much.
Yeah, that's too much. Yeah.
But they didn't film like him giving the ice cream out. They did like still photos, like with the phones and stuff.
Okay, gotcha.
But it was more like a
promotion.
It wasn't even publicity stunt because it was his friends that we were delivering him to. So it was like, hey, what's up, Ashton Kutcher or whatever, and like.
Well, I guess when you have as much money as Benny Blanco, you just rent a truck and give ice cream to your friends.
It was a pint of ice cream that had his face on it.
Of course.
Makes sense. Very Benny Blanco.
Now, I know you also are doing some other stuff for Rob. You were on his show, right, as well?
Oh, the Vanilla Ice Project?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was on season, I believe, 7. I forgot what year that was. Let me tell you, that was a really fun show to be on. So
what was it about?
What's that?
Yeah. Tell everybody if they don't know what the Vanilla Ice Project is.
Oh, so for I think 9 or 10 seasons, he had a show on HGTV where he would renovate houses and document it. So you would see him demolishing parts of or the whole house and then building it up from the ground up again in his style. So that was called the Vanilla Ice Project.
Yep. Okay.
And so at that point in time, I've been traveling with him for probably 3 years, I guess, 3 or 4 years. And he's like, yeah, he kept on trying to get me to go be on the show. And I'm like, it was over there in Florida. I'm like, dude, I got so much stuff happening here in LA. Like, but he was like, come on, you got to go. Come on. And his manager was like, dude, it ain't like how you think it is. Like with the movies over there with the trailers and everything. Like, that's what I was thinking, right? The Vanilla Ice Project. There's all these movie trailers, and stuff. And for like 3 months, the manager's like, don't go. It's not like what you think. It's not what you're used to. And I'm like, no, I'm going to go. So I go. I ask him, what should I wear? Because I knew it was a construction site, so I knew I couldn't just do whatever. And him and Wes were like, oh, yeah, just wear some shorts and construction boots and whatever. So we get there. We're on the island of Melbourne. My first day there, I didn't feel anything until I got back to my hotel. I had been eaten up on my legs and arms by these things called no-see-ums. And it's an actual thing. When I went to go get the bug spray at the stores, it says on all the listing, can't see them.
And the no-see-um. What is a no-see-um?
It's probably smaller than a flea because I didn't see this thing bite me.
Oh,
and
shit.
it bit me all over my legs. Like my legs would bite the next day.
So what is it said again?
A no-see-um.
Either no-see-um or can't see them.
Well, that explains
one of the two.
Why.
One of the two. But it actually said that on the bug box, like it's good for them. But that was a practical joke they played because they were all wearing jeans. And I was like, why are they wearing jeans?
Oh, shit.
Bastards. Filthy bastards.
But it was fun. And being part of TV, I know how the editing goes. I know that stuff gets cut. But dude, I was there every other week for 6 months helping build his house. And I probably had like 5.2 seconds of screen time on the entire season. I was like, wait a minute, you cut me out of most of it. Like, dude.
So,
dang.
So that means you can add construction to your long resume here.
5.2 seconds out of 6 months I can add.
Thanks, Vanilla Ice.
I joke around about it, but Rob's a really nice guy. He's really humble. And like I said, if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be with him, right? I wouldn't be hanging around him. I wouldn't be dancing as a turtle.
No,
it's a show, so.
Definitely, from what I see on the internet, he's a very, very nice guy, but he's also a really big Turtles fan as well. I know he has.
Do you know he has like tattoos all over his body of Ninja Turtles?
Yeah, and I also know he has a really big turtle collection as well.
Oh yeah, he bought. We were out somewhere, some show, and some guy wanted him to sign some turtle thing, and he bought it from him. He's like, "I'm not going to sign it. I'll buy it from you." But he took it from him.
Wow, that's hilarious.
Yeah,
that's a good story to tell. Well, I was going to get this signed by Vanilla Ice,
but he just gave me a couple $100 for it instead.
So I have no proof, but it's not here.
I have no
Actually, I would have made him sign like $100 bill that he gave me or something. I've been here signing.
I would have at least gotten a picture.
Yeah, for real.
So, have you ever had any good fan experiences or something that like really stood out to you doing cons and stuff like that?
I always have at least two fans that really make me humble for doing what I did for a brief period of time in my life and a brief period of time in their lives. I always get the fans that have been bullied at some point when they were younger. And for some reason, that character, Baboo, resonates with them and taught them how to cope in some way with what they were doing, or getting treated as. And so they tell me about them getting bullied, and I take the time to listen, obviously, and it's really humbling to know that something I did back then made a difference. But like I said, there was two of us in that suit, so I'm sure it was the same for the other guy. Something that we did back then that we just thought was a job, and even though I thought it was cool, it turned out to be something more years later. I get really humbled by anybody coming up to me and wanting an autograph or a picture, because I'm nobody. Like, I'm still just Jason. I built this turtle van. I get sweaty in these suits, turtle suits, and I don't think that I have that level of fame, so it's really humbling for anybody to come up to me and let me know anything about their personal lives.
That's awesome.
I mean, you're clearly somebody, because I mean, we know about you.
Yeah.
Like we're nobody that know about you.
There's
you look me up on Google and you see all the bad stuff.
there's very few franchises like Star Wars, Star Trek, Power Rangers, where even the smallest characters have so much fandom.
That's true.
That is true.
So I mean, it again, you probably had no clue that Power Rangers was going to be what it is, and it would still be such a big part of your life.
Yeah, I don't think most people did. I'm sure it was different for the main cast, but I don't think a lot of people on the show realized that it was going to be something more than what it was at the time.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? Oh, question we do always ask everybody. Now that we kind of talked about you, Turtles, and Power Rangers, what are 5 movies that you like? We always like to find out people's movies taste. So if you had to name your top 5 movies, what would they be?
Someone just asked me that the other day too.
Oh, really?
It's really hard.
That's the whole point.
I'm gonna say RoboCop, Popeye, Time Bandits, Buckaroo Banzai, because my nickname in the industry now is Buckaroo, so I got that from Buckaroo Banzai. And the 5th one is really hard. I'm always a tie for a couple of them, and they've escaped me right now that I'm talking about.
Best idea.
You're on the clock.
Mortal Kombat was a good one.
Oh man, all right. Yeah, and then I was totally curious about the Buckaroo Banzai thing because your email, I was like, is he talking about Buckaroo Banzai?
That's what's wrong. And not too many people know that. Like, is that Buckaroo Banzai? Like, once in a while, I get people reading back the lines to me, so I think that's pretty cool. If they know awesome. That, so it makes me laugh.
I think I don't even know what Buckaroo Banzai is.
Oh man!
Oh, you look. Everybody's in that movie in the 80s.
Yeah, man, you guys watch that one.
Oh my!
I'm stumped. On point.
So he's usually our movie guy. So the fact that he doesn't know that,
that's They're supposed to be making Buckaroo Banzai too. We're still waiting for that.
Oh, let's see.
Wait, when did that movie come out?
The original Buckaroo
84, I believe.
Oh, 84. Wow, yeah.
Because I think Peter Weller did that, and then he did RoboCop. So I think 84, yeah.
Okay.
Probably like 5 or 6. I shouldn't even know what that movie is, but I do.
RoboCop is still so good. I saw it recently. It's freaking awesome.
Yeah, just don't see the 2, 3 in the TV series. It's fun.
So since you have that arcade behind you, you're a gamer? Can we say you're a gamer or?
No, this is one of the things I happened to buy because I thought I needed it. And so far I played with it twice.
That's our day to day.
Yeah, I
It's
can't
just a
lie.
facade.
I can't lie. Me and David are like very big, like we need to have like complete sets. So if we had a TMT van, I'm pretty sure we would buy everything Ninja Turtles as well.
Oh, it'll be over, man.
I'll tell you, I can't fathom right now buying the Dragon's Lair version of this cabinet. I want it so bad in the space age. I can't do it.
There's so many cool ones, man. It's
Yeah,
like
they've definitely done a lot of cool of those arcades. What's the name of that company? Arcade.
Oh, Arcade One Up.
Yeah, Arcade One Up. Yeah, they've done so many cool cabinets so far.
They do make awesome stuff.
Yeah.
I keep looking at their Mortal Kombat one. It looks so awesome.
So 2 questions for you. These are a little loaded. So who is your favorite Power Ranger and why? And the same question goes for Ninja Turtle.
I'm gonna say
Pink Ranger. Amy Jo Johnson is majestic to this day. To this day.
I wasn't a fan of the Rangers per se. I really liked the Blue Centurion because he was this robot cop.
Oh yeah, that was awesome.
And it's not that I like cops or robots because obviously I like RoboCop, but for whatever reason,
I'm starting to see a trend.
I thought the Blue Centurion was really cool. I thought he was cool. And then turtle-wise, my favorite turtle is Michelangelo. It will always be. That's the first turtle suit I bought, and that's why all the concerts and the parties, it's Michelangelo without a doubt.
That's right, man.
So what about Michelangelo resonated with you? Like, why Michelangelo?
Because he's the funny one, and I think because I like being like random and just out there. Like he's the one turtle that can do that.
Yeah.
Like Raph kind of have to be like a jerk, and like Donnie, you have to be tall. I'm not too tall. And, who's that? Leo. I don't know how to play with swords, so I think Mikey's the best.
Mikey.
And now for our favorite question of the hour, and I think this would be a great question for you since you've done so much and like you've branched off and done so many things with your career. So David, all you.
All right. What advice would you have for someone trying to get into cosplaying, getting into film, like going in for auditions,
building turtle vans?
No, but I mean, like going back to like
somebody trying to follow their dreams and,
exactly.
and do something out of the box.
How do you do what you do?
As a blanket statement to anything that you just mentioned, I would say commitment. If you're going to do something, commit to it. And it doesn't matter how much money you have or how much money you don't have. Your commitment to how you want your costume to look, like costume-wise cosplay, that's all on you because everybody's is different. Everybody's is a personal touch, right? So I just think commitment is the biggest thing no matter what you do. If you're going to start it, you should finish through with it or at least follow through and say that you tried. Don't start something and then stop halfway because you're still going to have that what if. At least you know if you tried and you gave it your all. You know, it's really hard in TV and movies. You know, you either have a look that they're looking for and you're lucky.
Yeah.
Like me, I was lucky to get that small part that I had. It didn't catapult into anything, but I was lucky for one brief moment in my life to do that, right?
Yeah.
But I used that to try and what's the term I'm looking for? My self-esteem. Not that I didn't have good self-esteem back then. I did because I was always meeting people and doing my own thing, but it gave me the confidence to keep going. Mm-hmm. It gave me the confidence to be like, oh, I could be a turtle. You know, I could build that. And I did, right? Like it takes the idea, but it also takes the drive to follow through with it. You know, so every year I learned something. I learned something from everybody that I come in contact with. I've learned a lot from Rob. I learned a lot from being on the show. Everybody I come in contact with, I try and take something that I can use to better myself, you know?
It's funny that you call him Rob and not like, yo, Vanilla was awesome. Was cool.
Well, that's his point, man.
Vanilla taught me a lot. Vanilla's deep, you know.
In the beginning, I didn't know what to call him. And he's like, "Call me Rob." We're like, "We're friends. Just call me Rob."
Hey, Ice. Hey, Ice. Come over here.
I would do that too in the beginning. Like, I'm not saying I never did that. I'm like, "Hey, Ice, Vanilla." But at a certain point, you know, like when we're out, right? I learned right away that when we're out and about, by saying Vanilla or Ice, you're bringing attention.
Yeah, of course.
And maybe we can't move so freely around, like in the airport or something. That's why Rob came into play mostly, because I didn't want to bring the attention to the group, you know.
Sure.
That's how the Rob thing started.
Okay.
Well, I do love what you said about follow through. I mean, I'm sure everybody could take from that. There's a lot of people, including us, where we've done something, started it, never finished it, and have regretted it later.
Of that too. I'm guilty of not finishing a couple things, so I'm not perfect, you know.
But we're always learning, right? That's the idea.
For sure.
If you're not always learning, you're stuck. Is what I say, you know.
Yeah. And I think it's also really great that, you know, like you said, you took the opportunity you had and were able to build on it, and you're like, all right, I'm going to take this little opportunity I had and build a career off it and find my way into other things. And I think everybody for that.
For sure.
That's definitely what happened. Like, it just things springboarded from my ideas to just have something, right? Like, I wanted to have the van, and something else that I never thought about happened with it, you know. So I'm very thankful for all that stuff.
That's awesome.
Well, we are super thankful for having you on the show. Super thankful for you coming on after having a long flight this morning.
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't think I was going to wake up. I think I slept. I was hoping I would wake up, and I did.
Well, we're super glad you did. This was an awesome conversation. We will have links to all of your social media
everything
below, so please go check them out. Also, hey, as always, go follow us. That'd be nice for you guys to follow us too as well. And
like this video because it was awesome.
And share it everywhere.
And and bro, again, thank you so much, and to everybody watching, may the force be with you.
Bye, everybody.
Ciao, peoples. Laters.